This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material. After this video, the viewers will be able to understand how globalization influences religious practices and beliefs, analyze the relationship between religion, global conflict, and global peace, recognize the role of media in shaping religious dynamics within the global village. Before we dive into the modern effects of globalization on religion, let's take a moment to take a look at the past. Globalization may seem like a modern phenomenon, but religion has always played a role in connecting different parts of the world. This spread of religion through ancient trade, routes, conquest, and colonialism laid the foundation for today's global religious landscape. One of the earliest examples of globalization impact on religion comes from the Silk Road, the ancient trade routes that connected Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. Alongside goods like silks and spices, religious ideas traveled these routes too. Buddhism spread from India to China, Islam spread across Central Asia, and Christianity entered new religious trades and missionaries. Colonization and empire building further accelerated the spread of religion. Islam expanded rapidly across North Africa and into the parts of Europe during the Islamic Golden Age. European colonization spread Christianity across Africa, Asia, and Americas. This interaction of religion with politics, trades, and conquest laid the foundation for much of the religious diversity we see today. So, while modern globalization has introduced new technologies and digital platforms, the spread of religion has been happening for centuries. Religious industries have introduced across borders, shaping and reshaping societies. The historical spread of religion through trade routes, colonization, and empire building sets the stage for today's religious diversity. The way religions coexist and influence each other in today's globalized world is built on the centuries-old interactions. Understanding this historical context help us see how deeply connected globalization and religion have always been. And as we have looked at how religion continues to evolve in the modern world, we appreciate the long history of global interactions and have shaped the religious landscapes as we see today.
Globalization has brought the world closer, but it's also a change in the way people practice their faith. Let's take a closer look at how traditional religious practices are evolving in response to a more connected world. Throughout history, religion has been passed down through generations rooted in rituals, traditions, and practices of worship. But today, globalization is reshaping how these traditions are carried out. One major effect we see is the blending religious practices. Take the Philippines, for example. Our traditional religious practice, like Simbang Gabi and Holy Week processions, are still very important. But globalization has introduced new customs. Now, many Filipino families celebrate the Western style Christmas, complete with Santa Claus, Christmas trees, and holiday sales, customs that didn't originate from our faith. This blending of traditions is one way globalization is making religious more fluid. It's not just about keeping old customs alive, it's also about adapting the new ones around the world.
As globalization brings the world closer together, it doesn't just change how people practice their faith, it also influences what they believe. The constant exchange of ideas and exposure to different cultures, it challenges and reshapes the religious beliefs. Globalization exposes us to different ways of thinking. In the past, people were more likely to grow up with one belief system, one religion that shaped their values. Today, thanks to the internet, travel, media, and young people exposed to multiple worldviews from young age. This exposure is reshaping how many people see their own beliefs. For example, the young Filipinos are not only influenced by their Catholic upbringing, but also the ideas from other religions, even secular philosophies. In many urban areas, there noticeable shift while older generations may still strictly follow religion beliefs, more likely to question, explore, or mix different spiritual paths. This is where the idea of religious pluralism comes in. The globalization promotes the idea that there's a truth and different religious traditions can offer valuable insights. As people encounter different beliefs, they often adopt new ideas that challenges or complement their existing to faith. In fact, globalization has also contributed to the rise of secularism, people choosing to live without religious belief. Atheism or agnosticism are more widely accepted today. In some countries, these viewpoints are growing fast. But this doesn't mean the religion is disappearing. Instead, many people are combining spiritual secular beliefs in a way that fits their personal experiences. For example, someone might identify as a Christian, but also practices meditation, which come from Buddhism, or they may reject the organized religion altogether but still engage in philosophical or ethical discussions that aligns with religious teachings. In today's interconnected world, religious beliefs are no longer fixed as they once were. Globalization has opened up new ways of thinking, leading people to question, reshape, and sometimes blend their beliefs. Whether it's through their new spiritual practices, exposure to different philosophies, ideas, religion is becoming more personal, fluid, and diverse than ever before.
Throughout history, religion has often been linked to conflict. From ancient wars to modern day political disputes, faith has been a driving force. But is religion really the cause, or is it simply a tool used to justify deeper political, social, and economic struggles? Religion plays a complex role in global conflicts. In some cases, religious differences have been a spark that ignites violence, but more often, these conflicts are driven by other factors like land, power, and resources, with religion being used as a symbol to rally people. Take the Crusades as an example. From the 11th to the 13th century, European Christians waged war against Muslims in the Middle East, fighting for control of Jerusalem, a city sacred to both religions. While religion was a central part of the conflict, it was also about power, territory, and political control. Fast forward to today, we still see religion playing a role in conflicts across the globe. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for example, is often framed as a religious war between Jews and Muslims. But when you look deeper, it is also about land, national identity, and historical grievances. In the modern era, religion is sometimes used by extremist groups to justify violence. Groups like ISIS or Boko Haram claim religious motivations for their actions, but their goals often include political power, control over resources, or territorial dominance. So why does religion seem to fuel conflict? One reason is that religion is deeply personal. It's tied to people's identities, cultures, and values. When those beliefs are threatened, people often feel like they're fighting to protect not just themselves, but their entire way of life. In many conflicts, religious leaders or political figures manipulate the sense of loyalty to rally people to their cause, whether it's for political gain, territorial expansion, or social control. This is why we see so many conflicts framed in religious terms. But we have to remember, most wars aren't simply about religion. Religion is so often intertwined with other powerful forces like politics, economics, and history.
Why religion has sometimes been linked to war. It has also been one of the most powerful tools for promoting peace. Around the world, religious leaders and communities are working together to bring out understanding, healing, and correlation. One of the most powerful ways religion contributes to peace is through interfaith dialogue, bringing people from different religious backgrounds together to find common ground. These dialogues focus on shared values like compassion, justice, and forgiveness. In the Philippines, for example, interfaith initiatives have been key to build peace in conflict areas like Mindanao, where Christians, Muslims and indigenous groups have been in conflict for decades. Religious leaders have came together to promote understanding and encourage peace talks. We also see religious leaders stepping up to mediate to conflicts. Take the role of Pope Francis in international diplomacy, from encouraging peace in the Middle East to advocating to refugee rights. His efforts show how faith can be a force for global peace. Beyond these high-level efforts, religious communities around the world are engaged in grassroots peace-building efforts. From local religious leaders organizing community programs to larger initiatives like international relief efforts, faith groups are often at the forefront of the humanitarian work. This action shows us that while religion can be a source of conflicts, it also be one of the most powerful force for healing and rebuilding.
In today's connected world, media is one of the most powerful forces driving the globalization of religion. Through television, the internet, and social media, religious ideas and practices spread across borders faster than ever before. Media plays a key role in making religious practice accessible to people worldwide. Whether it's watching a live stream church service, following religious leaders on the social media, or learning about spiritual practice from the other cultures through documentaries, media connects us to the faiths beyond our own. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, religious institutions all over the world turned to media platforms to continue their service. Churches live stream mass, mosques stream, Friday prayers, and even meditation groups offered virtual sessions. Social media has become an especially important platform for spreading religious ideas. Religious leaders now use Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to share teachings, respond to questions from followers, and even host live sessions where people can engage with them directly. But it's not just about live streams or social media. Media introduce people to religions they may never have encountered otherwise. You can watch a documentary on Buddhism, follow live coverage of the Hajj pilgrimage, or see interviews with religious leaders from around the world, all from your own home. This widespread access to religious content has allowed people to learn about faiths other than their own, helping to break down barriers and foster a greater understanding of global religions. In many ways, media has become a bridge connecting people to faiths and practice from around the world. A person in the Philippines can watch a spiritual retreat in India, follow a yoga class online, or participate in a global religious event no matter where they are.
The concept of the global village refers to the world becoming more connected socially, culturally, and spiritually due to media. Media plays a critical role in this by bridging gaps between people of different religious and cultural backgrounds, enabling interaction, idea sharing, and learning across the globe. In the past, individuals were largely limited in their own religious communities. However, today, media allows people to connect beyond their immediate surroundings, fostering a sense of unity and shared values. Events like Hajj or the World Youth Day are no longer local experiences as media coverage allow millions of people participate virtually, creating global religious communities. Moreover, media facilitates interfaith dialogue, enabling people of different religions to engage in meaningful conversation about shared challenges, faith, and spirituality online. In this, media has helped turn the world into a global village where people of all faiths can connect, learn from one another, and worship together across borders. The key question is whether this increased connectivity makes religion a unifying force in the global village, a topic for further exploration.
In our interconnected world where people from different cultures and faith come together every day, we have to ask, can religion unite the global village or does it remain as a source of division? Religion is deeply personal. It shapes our values, culture, and identities as globalization brings us closer. Religion has the potential to be a powerful force for unity, but as we've seen throughout the history, it can also divide us. On one hand, religion encourages values like compassion, love, and respect. Many religion leaders and communities are working together to bring people together, promoting peace and understanding across different faiths. For example, interfaith dialogues are growing movements worldwide where leaders from different religions work together to solve common issues. These efforts shows how religion can bring divide and promote cooperation on issues like poverty, education, and peace. But while religion has the power to unite, it's not always easy. Our global village is more diverse than ever. We can live in a world where people with different beliefs, traditions, and worldviews interact regularly and different. Sometimes this difference leads to tension. This is one of the biggest challenges of globalization, while religion can create a sense of community within a faith. It can also create divisions between faith when people feels that their beliefs are being threatened. Tension can rise leading to conflict. However, there are many examples where religion has been forced for unity. In local communities around the world, religious groups often lead efforts to promote peace and provide humanitarian aid and foster the understanding between different faiths. In many ways, answers to where religions can unite the global village depends on us. It depends on how we choose engage with people of different beliefs. Wherever we focus on divides us and the values we share, religions can both unifying and divide force in the global village. But the potential for unity is there as we together engage with efforts, share values, and mutual respect. Religion can help bring us together in our increasingly connected world.
As we've explored throughout this video, globalization is reshaping religion in profound ways, from how we practice our faith to how we interact with people of other beliefs. Religion is evolving in a context of international world. So, what does the future hold for religion in a globalized world? Let's revisit some of the key points. Globalization has changed how people experience religion. Traditional practices are adapting to new influences, alternative spiritual practices are on the rise, and technology has allowed faith to become more accessible than ever before. We've also seen how religion can be both a unifying and dividing force in the global village. Interfaith dialogue and cooperation are helping people from common ground, but religious diversity can also lead to tension when beliefs clash. Looking ahead, religion is likely to continue evolving in response to globalization. Here are a few trends we can expect to see. First, we're likely to see the world digital and hybrid religious practices as technology continues to advance. More people will be able to attend virtual services, join online religious communities, and use digital tools to enhance their spiritual lives. We'll also see more interfaith collaboration as global challenges like climate change, poverty, and inequality continue to affect us all. Di- Different religious communities will likely work together to address their issues, finding common ground through shared values. Another trend is the personalization of faith. More people, especially younger generation, are bleeding different beliefs, spiritual practices, and secular philosophies to create a faith ex- experience that is meaningful to them. But with all this change, there's also a question of balance. Will traditional religions adapt to this new trend while keeping their core values intact? Or will the forms of spirituality take over? The future of religion may depart on how well religious communities balance tradition with modernity, using technology to enhance their practices while staying true to their foundational beliefs. Ultimately, religion will continue to be a powerful force in the global village, whether it unites the divides us or will develop on how we approach it, whether we focus on our difference in our shared values of love, compassion, and understanding. As we move forward in the globalized world, it's up to us to use religion as a bridge rather than a barrier to find unity in diversity and to ensure that our faith helps build more peaceful and connected global community.